Poor Tucker. Mommy put him in the kennel. Come on, buddy, let's go. Let's go, puppy. Okay, guys, so it's been long enough now that I think I'm gonna go ahead and do a, let's just call it an initial review on this new Ram, the DT body style Ram. So, as you know, Ram was, the Ram 1500 was completely redesigned for the 2019 model year. And this one that I picked up is a 2020. And now the 2021s are coming out. So you can go down and place an order for the 21 models at the time of this video. But this one here is a 2020. And bought it last winter. I keep saying bought, I actually leased it. We can do a whole video on that. If you finance it, it's not yours anyway, right? But anyway, I leased this back in the winter time last year, winter of 1920. And now we're going into fall of 20, and pretty soon it'll be winter of 2021. So I've been through all the seasons with it. I've towed with it quite a bit, actually, hauled things with it, used it to commute to work and back. It's been through really cold weather, really hot weather. You know, I've got a lot of seat time in it, enough to really give you a good opinion about this new Ram 1500. So let's get to it. So the first thing that they did, of course, is they redesigned the exterior. They gave it more of a rounded, sleek, modern look. And in my opinion, it looks a whole lot better than the outgoing model. Obviously, that's subjective. Everybody has their own opinions, but I think this new design looks pretty awesome. Like I said, it's more rounded, more fuel efficient, more modern looking, but it still has some of that toughness and some of that edge to it. I particularly like the front end on this particular package, and I'll get to that in just a moment because I really don't like chrome. So anyhow, they did a good job with this. Now obviously I have a leveling kit on the truck. It's a 1.5 inch leveling kit to give it a level stance. And again, I've got the wheels and tires on there that are not factory. But other than that, the exterior of this truck is 100% stock. Hey puppy, you gonna help me? He's a good dog. So some of the little things that I like about this truck, and some of you may think it's kind of, you know, minor nitpicky stuff, but here's some things I really like about this. First of all, you've got amber turn signals, which everybody knows amber bulbs are more visible, especially in bad weather. And it gives you a dedicated bulb here just for the turn signals. I really like having amber turn signals. I know it's a really small detail, but I like that. I like that a lot. And I'm glad that they did that. You know, it's real nice to have all your trailer connections here for your 4-pin. You got your heavier duty trailer connections right there, real easy to get to. You know, you can see your safety chain connections are easy to get to. This particular truck has the reverse sensors, which are really nice on a vehicle this big, especially if you've got somebody like your wife or somebody else driving it that's maybe they're not real used to driving a full-size truck. This is really nice because, you know, all the help you can get, right? Moving along here, I did forget to mention that these are not factory. These are Bushwhacker factory style, or OE style as they call them, fender flares. Forgot about that. I did put those on there. But you know, you've got these nice turn signals here in the mirrors, which really are cool. Moving up here to the headlights. Now these are the halogen headlights. This is a Bighorn edition, but they changed this up, or maybe they didn't. I don't know. I didn't have the previous gen. But now you've got separate low and high beam bulbs. So when you turn the high beams on, your low beams stay on, and it gives you more light and better visibility. And you have the sensors in the front too, which is really handy when you go to someplace like Walmart parking lot or Lowe's or something like that, and you're getting in those tight parking spaces and it's kind of hard to see over the hood. You don't want to bump the vehicle in front of you. Those are really nice. So it's got some really cool features on it. There's a couple of things I don't like, and I'm going to show you one of them. One of them is that shark fin antenna. That thing adds like 3 inches to the height of the roof line, and it's just begging to get ripped off. I have no idea why they did that. They have other vehicles in their lineup, such as the Jeep Wrangler, Jeep Gladiator, so on and so forth, that have satellite radio, nav, all the features that you can get on these trucks, and they don't have an antenna visible at all. You know, so surely Ram could have come up with a better way to do the antenna than to have something like this sticking up on top of the roof just begging to get ripped off. And I've actually seen pictures of guys ripping these off, and when you do, it bends the sheet metal on the roof also, which kind of sucks. So not a big fan of that. It is kind of cool that they give you a little torsion assist on the tailgate. See, that's nice, especially if you got your hands full and you walk up to the truck. I've got the dual liner bed liner in here because you can buy these. They ship it to your house in a box. You snap it together, you know, like Legos, put the rubber mat in the bottom. It's really handy. And this is a leased truck, so when I get another truck, if I decide to get another Ram, I can just take this out and put it in my new truck. So far this has been great. I've hauled a lot of stuff in here. It's worked out wonderfully. I like the rubber mat because it's easier on the knees, easier to crawl around on. So that's cool. So let's move inside the truck, and you'll have to forgive me. I'm kind of in the process of hauling some stuff this weekend, so I've got towels down on the seats, but got a nice power rear sliding glass there. I'm going to show you these seats. Now this is what they call the premium cloth seats, and to be honest with you, I don't really know what the difference is between this and a standard cloth seat. I looked at some trucks on the lot when I got this one that had standard cloth seats, and they looked very, very, very similar to me. So I don't know what the real difference is. I don't know what you get here with the premium ones, but they're $500 upcharge to get these premium seats. So again, this particular truck was already on the lot. I wouldn't have ordered that. You know, if I was placing an order for a truck, I wouldn't have given them 500 more bucks for these, but it is what it is, I guess. Anyhow, that's one of the options that this truck has, is the premium cloth seating. Another option that it has is the rear fender liners, which keep mud and snow and junk from getting up inside of your rear body panels. Of course, you got your fuel line connections and everything back here, so it keeps all the road junk off of there. Tucker wants to go for a ride, don't you, buddy? It's funny because when I tell him to get in the truck, he won't do it, but when I don't tell him to, he will. Here's another option this truck has, is the integrated trailer brake controller. That was optional. And then the 392 axle gears, this truck has those. That was also an option. And then the other two options are, this one has what they call the level 2 package, which you can get on the Bighorn, and it gives you a lot of really nice stuff. You know, this particular truck is pretty well equipped. You've got heated seats, heated steering wheel, the 8.4 inch Uconnect system, which is awesome. Leather wrapped steering wheel. I mean, actually the truck is equipped really nicely. I really love this center console. My wife loves it too because there's all kinds of space in here. I mean, there's more space down in there. I need to clean it out actually because it's there's so much space here that you find yourself getting in a habit of throwing junk in there. So I really need to go through and clean that out. You've got USB ports everywhere, cup holders everywhere, just tons of storage. Over there on the passenger side, you've got a compartment there you can open. You've got a glove box. I mean, just tons of storage. Of course, you've got cup holders over here in the door panel as well. Places for gloves. You've got these pockets on the side of the console. It's almost as if they put storage everywhere they possibly could in this truck, which is pretty handy. Underneath of the floor liners, you've got more storage. How about that? Something else this truck has is the North Edition package. You can see the emblem there. I'll be honest with you, I didn't know exactly what that was when I leased this truck. Again, this truck was just sitting on the lot, but it turns out that the North package, the North Edition package, is really awesome. Hey buddy, you can get out of the truck if you want to. I know it's hot in there. But anyway, the North Edition, basically what that is the Sport Appearance package, which gives you the body color bumpers, body color grille, body colored accents. The Off-Road package, which gives you a locking rear differential, 1 inch higher ride height, better shocks. And the Cold Weather package, which gives you things like these cool floor liners, engine block heater, steering wheel is heated, the seats are heated, the mirrors are heated, remote start. All three of those packages are combined into one for 1,500 bucks. I mean, you can't beat that with a stick. It's one of the best values in these trucks. I really, really like this North Edition. After I found out everything that was in it, I was really glad to have it. So Again, this truck right here, Bighorn Level 2, it's got some nice features. It's not as nice as the top of the line models, but it's not nearly as expensive either. Now the third thing, not the third thing, probably the fifth thing by now. We're getting on down the list here, Tucker. But the final thing I want to mention that was optional on this truck is the EcoDiesel engine. And that's the main reason that I got this truck. I wanted to try that 3rd gen EcoDiesel and give it a whirl and see what it's all about. Yeah, so I've been a big diesel engine fan all my life. See if I can remember how to open the hood. It's been a little while. And you know, the EcoDiesel, the 2nd gen EcoDiesel, had its fair share of problems. It earned itself a reputation for being junk, to be honest. But with the 3rd generation, they promised us that they fixed all that. They say this engine is 80% redesigned or new. They said that they talked to dealers and owners, went down the list of all the issues they were having with it and fixed and addressed all of those things. So they really made it sound like that this particular version of the engine was going to be rock solid and wasn't going to give us any trouble. And so I thought, hey, now would be a great time to try it. It's all new, just now hitting the road. Would be a good opportunity to try something out and do some videos on it. You know, put it to work in the real world, see if it really is a better engine. So far, I had one failure, and it's not really an engine failure, it's just that it started leaking oil in my driveway. Turns out it was a faulty timing cover, and I have read several other people that have also had faulty timing covers and have had to go to the dealership and get that fixed. The problem is it takes a long while to get parts, and they have to take quite a bit of the engine apart, including fuel lines, injectors, and all that, to get access to remove this timing cover. So it's a pretty big job, you know, and if you had to do it out of warranty, it probably would cost you 4 figures pretty easily. So that happened to me at a little over 5,000 miles. You guys probably saw the videos on that. That was very disappointing to have the engine marking its territory at such a low mileage. But they got me fixed. Obviously it was done under warranty. And so far it's been bone dry ever since. You know, it could go another 200,000 miles with no trouble, or I might have another problem with it next week. It's really hard to say with this EcoDiesel, but fingers crossed. You know, I'm just going to keep on driving it and towing with it and doing what I need to do with it, and we'll see what happens. But you know, the fuel economy is pretty decent, even on this off-road suspension and the big mud tires. I'm still averaging about 21 miles per gallon. That's a mix of city and highway. If I go out on just a pure highway trip, I can get upper 20s out of it pretty easily. So the mileage is pretty good. It's very, very good compared to the V8 gas engines. The torque is pretty good. You know, it can stay in the higher gears when I'm towing my enclosed trailer, which gas engines can't do. You know, all my prior V8 gas trucks like to hunt and constantly downshift, upshift, downshift, upshift. This one will try to stay in an upper gear, which is nice. So far, you know, it's been a pretty good engine, but I had that one issue. And the other problem with it is the software. You know, I still think the software sucks, and I think they should work on that, you know, because they had so many problems with the Gen 2 software and the complaints, especially after they did the emissions update. I can't believe they would bring the all-new Gen 3 engine to market with the same problems. Lots of lag, you know, sometimes you get a random dead pedal. You never know what you're going to get when you dip into the throttle. It might take off and go. It might delay a few seconds and then go. It might do nothing at all and then bury your head in the seat. You never know what you're going to get when you touch the accelerator pedal on this. It's very, you know, non-linear. You can't get used to it like you can other vehicles. You know, and the software calibration just really ruins the experience, unfortunately. If a guy had the money to delete the emissions equipment and put a good tune in this truck, I think it would be something really special. It would feel super strong. It would get even better mileage, and the drivability would be so much better. But because of the way that they're choosing. So yeah, you can look at my truck and tell that I use it. It's really dirty, but when you live out in a rural area on gravel roads, it's hard to keep it clean. But you know, the truck has power seats. It's got all kinds of features that are basically the stuff that you want and stuff that you need without going overkill. The seats are pretty comfortable. I do feel a little bit of something going on over here that digs into my hip, and I can't quite figure out what it is. But it's funny because I had an 04 or 05, had a couple of them actually, 04, 05 model Ram 1500s. That was the generation prior to the prior generation. And they had the same problem. The seats were comfy, but right over here in this area, there was something going on with it that would dig into your hip. Can't quite figure that out. It's not a huge deal on this truck, but I notice it. Other than that, the seats are comfy. I wish I could figure that out because otherwise the seats are pretty comfy. So I really like those. The interior on this truck, overall, I mean, it looks fantastic. Try to get out of the sunlight there. It looks fantastic. It's very functional, very nice looking. The only thing I hate is that shift knob. I can't stand that shift knob. And here's the thing about it. It's not intuitive, you know? It's just really hard to get used to. I mean, the thing about it is if you've got a mechanical like lever shifter or a column shifter, okay, your brain can get used to those motions. You know, you learn the positions, you know, park, reverse, neutral, drive. You learn the positions, the detents, right? Same thing with a column shifter. Your brain can get adjusted to that motion and how far you have to go to hit the gear that you want. With this rotary shifter, there's nothing moving. You're just turning a dial. And so it's not as intuitive. It takes your brain longer to learn the positions, and you find yourself, sometimes when you first get the truck, you might find yourself accidentally hitting reverse when you want drive, or hitting neutral when you want park, or whatever the case might be. That happened to me a couple of times. Thankfully, there was nothing around to hit when the truck lurched forward when I thought I was going to go backward. But you have to really be careful. And you know, I know from a safety standpoint, you should be looking at what gear you're in anyway. But on this truck, you have to pay attention to what gear you're in with that rotary dial, because it's not intuitive. You don't feel engagement or anything. So I don't like that. I just can't stand that. I know why they did it, to save a lot of space and to make things possible, like that huge console in there. So I know why they did it. I just don't like it. Can't get used to it. But, you know, overall, that's a minor gripe. And like I said, if all you've got to complain about are those kinds of things, then you're doing pretty good, right? I think it's a pretty good looking truck. The Patriot Blue clear coat looks nice on these trucks. It's very functional. And overall, it's just been a pretty great truck so far. The only issue I've had with it at all is that timing cover leak. So let's take a look here. Again, this is the Bighorn Edition crew cab 4x4. Here's your base price. So here are the options they put on here. Patriot Blue pearl coat paint was $100. There's those deluxe cloth seats for $500. Don't have any idea why you're paying $500 extra for different cloth, but anyway, it is what it is. North Edition package, $1,500. Here's the level 2 equipment group, and I strongly recommend, if you're going to get a Bighorn, to get this. It's $2,500, but look at everything you get. You get those in-floor storage bins that I showed you, the dampened tailgate that I showed you, all those auxiliary power outlets, the bigger 8.4-inch touchscreen Uconnect system, automatic climate control, Apple CarPlay, the Class 4 receiver hitch, the nicer TFT color display in the gauge cluster. That's the big color screen that sits between the gauges in the gauge cluster. That's really handy. USB ports everywhere, heated seats, power mirrors. I mean, there's all kinds of things in that package that are really handy for $2,500. They charge you $95 for the 392 axle ratio, but if you're going to do a lot of towing, it's worth it. $5,000 for that diesel engine, which also gives you the lower active grille shutters. Basically what that does is once you reach 35 miles per hour, it drops, and the grille shutters can close and help you to achieve better fuel economy, they say. You also get an 800 amp maintenance-free battery. The wheelhouse liners that I showed you are $200, but it is nice to keep all that junk out of your bedsides, especially in the wintertime. Trailer brake controller I showed you, $300. And then there's a $1,600 charge for the 20-inch by 9-inch chrome-clad wheels. And in case you're wondering, here's what those look like. Now, you know, they're not bad looking, but the thing that shocked me is the price. This is basically a plastic cover that looks like chrome that they've glued to a very low quality alloy, and they call it a chrome clad wheel, because that's what it is. It's not truly a chrome wheel, but $1,600 upcharge to get these. I mean, it's just insane. And it's, again, it's something that I would not have ordered, but this truck was just sitting on the lot. So that brings the total sticker price to $56,100, and with all of the rebates and discounts that they were offering, they were advertising this particular truck on the lot when I found it back in the wintertime for $39,900. So look at everything you get for just under $40,000. What about fuel economy? 24 is your average combined fuel economy on the window sticker. You can see the city is 21, highway 29. I have found that it really depends, especially on the diesel, it really depends on what gear ratio you choose. If, you know, the guys that have the 321 standard axle ratio, they seem to be doing a little bit better than this. And the guys like me that have the 392 axles are doing a little worse. So it's almost like if you had a 355 axle gear right in between the two, this is about what you would see. But like I said, I'm getting about 21. Of course, I've got the big tires on here too, but even when the stock tires were on it, it would only do 22. So I'm a little bit below window sticker, but it's still not bad. It's still not bad at all. Okay, so people buy trucks to do work with, right? So another thing they did with the DT style Ram is they increased the payload and the towing. You can see here the gross vehicle weight rating is 7,200 pounds. This one has a payload of 1,645 pounds. And when you consider all of the options that are on this truck and being a crew cab 4x4, 1,645 pounds is pretty good, you know. And these new DT Rams, they have more payload and more towing capacity than the outgoing model. So this one actually has a towing rating of around 10,000 pounds. Properly equipped, I think you can take these half-ton trucks from Ram all the way to like 12,500 pounds, somewhere in that ballpark. I know it's a little over 12,000. So, you know, these half-ton trucks these days are approaching where 3/4-ton trucks were not very, you know, many years ago. You can do a lot. I mean, there's a lot of stuff on here that I didn't even go over today. Yeah, so people still ask me all the time if I miss my Jeep Gladiator, and there are times when I do, because it was just such a fun vehicle, you know, that feeling you get when you drive a Jeep and you're part of that Jeep group. The fact that there's millions of accessories, you can tinker on those trucks until the cows come home. Yeah, sometimes I kind of miss it, but look what all you're getting for the money. I mean, at the end of the day, it's just really hard to argue the point that this isn't a better value. You know, if you're gonna spend $40,000, $45,000, $50,000, you're gonna get a whole lot more truck with something like this. Yes, the Jeep was really fun, but if you got a family like me and you have work to do like I do, this is just a more practical truck, and you get more truck for the same money. So I'm still happy with the truck. I really like it. You know, the diesel engine, if you're gonna keep it long term, that would kind of worry me, because the parts are so expensive, the labor is so intensive to work on it, maintenance is really expensive, and you have that huge upfront cost as well. It's really, really gonna take a special kind of person to be able to financially and practically, you know, say that the diesel was worth it. You know, I'm leasing the truck, so I don't have to worry about being out of warranty on it. But if you're planning on buying one of these and keeping it long term with a diesel engine, I recommend an extended warranty, just to give you some more protection. Next time around, I don't know what I'm going to go with. I might go up to a 3/4 ton and try that out. But, you know, really, this is a great truck. It's been fantastic. It's done everything that we've needed to do so far. And I don't think you can go wrong with this new Ram. I think they've done a great job. They've made a truck that I think is super competitive in this segment, and that's probably why their sales are consistently showing growth. You know, even when Ford and GM sometimes hit those flat lines, Ram just keeps on growing. They sell trucks like crazy. They're to the point now where Ram and the Chevrolet brand are usually fighting it out for second place in sales. Ram's just come a long way since I was a kid, and I love this truck so far. So 2020 Ram, the DT body, you can't go wrong with it. Great truck, guys. If you got any questions, leave them below. And as always, I thank you guys for taking the time to watch, and we'll see you next time.